there looks like the last move before Easter break for the Trudeau Liberals after winning the no confidence motion on Thursday is they're going to continue to strong-arm the provinces into doing things their way by threatening to withhold their transfer payments. Who are they doing it to this time? Ontario. They were doing it to Quebec a few weeks ago. Now they're doing it to Ontario again. So they did it to Ontario during COVID. This time, it's over affordable housing. So this title, the Trudeau government is threatening to withhold funding earmarked for affordable housing in Ontario. The feds say Ontario hasn't hit the housing target. Ontario, I just saw a CPAC live stream on Thursday where Doug Ford was in Hamilton making an announcement about committing another $1.5 billion to building affordable housing in Ontario. So I'm not sure how they figure that withholding funding earmarked for housing because they didn't meet the housing target is going to help them meet the housing target, because one would think that the province would need the federal dollars to hit the housing target, no? Like, isn't that what transfer payments are for? To top up the money that the provincial government already has to achieve said provincial targets? Isn't that the whole point of a top-up payment? So this says the Justin Trudeau government is threatening to withhold Ontario funding earmarked for affordable housing, claiming that almost no progress has been made by the province. In a letter sent on March 21st, Housing Minister Sean Fraser wrote that Ontario had pledged to deliver 19,660 units affordable housing units as part of a 10-year bilateral deal signed in 2018. So they were supposed to provide, let's round it up to 20,000 houses, Ontario was. As it stands, Ontario is expected to hit 1,184 new units by the end of 2024 to 2025. Yeah, you guys signed this agreement in 2018. What 2-year thing happened between then and now that basically halted every single thing everywhere? And then you're going to be like, they haven't met their requirement. Well, building a house, it used to take a while, but now it doesn't, because they don't care about the quality of houses, especially for affordable housing. But even let's give them 3 months a house. Okay? 20,000 houses at 3 months a house. That's still a long time. And when you have halting on every single thing for 2 goddamn years because of a pandemic, how the hell are you also supply shortage. How many stories did we hear during the pandemic of supply shortages from everything from toilet paper to windows for houses? How many, hello? What the fuck are you on one hand, we understand how hard the pandemic was for everybody, but on the other hand, fuck you for not meeting your targets, because for 2 years out of the 6 years that we've been dealing with this agreement, so for a third of the time, there was an incredible supply shortage. Also, we were shut down for about 1.5 years. But screw you, you didn't meet the target, so now we're not giving you the money that would help you meet the target. Don't you like the money we give you? It would be a shame if that money never showed up anymore, wouldn't it, Ontario? You know, kind of like the actual thing that Chrystia Freeland said to one of the Quebec members of Parliament on Tuesday. You know, we sent $5 billion to Quebec in in 8 years since 2015. How would it be, Mr. Speaker, if Quebec never received that money? Like, holy shit. What? This is the federal government of the mafia. What the hell? This is insane. So it says this leaves 94% of the target to be achieved during the last 3 years of the agreement, which is not realistic, Fraser wrote to his provincial counterpart in Ontario, Housing Minister Paul Calandro. Well, no, it's not realistic, but if we hadn't had a global pandemic where governments insisted that nobody do anything for 2 years, perhaps maybe more of the houses would be built, no? I'm just, and then everyone will be like, blind press. It's been 3 years since the pandemic really ended and we opened back up. Yeah, it has. It has. You're right. That's what, and then we have to clear up the backlog of everything that happened during the pandemic. So everyone's been playing catch up for the last 3 years. I think maybe in the last half of 2023. People are starting to catch up, but there are still cases in courts, for example, or like landlord-tenant courts or human rights tribunals. They're still backlogged. They're still trying to catch up. Ontario is lagging desperately behind all other provinces and territories. The lack of progress jeopardizes the completion of both Ontario's housing targets and Canada's national target. Sean, do you not realize how big Ontario is? It's the biggest, it's one, actually, besides Quebec, I think it's the biggest province. Fraser noted that unless Ontario provides a revised plan that shows how it intends to meet its targets, it will not receive its promised $357 million in funding from the federal government. So, yeah, if you don't figure out how to build another 19,000 and change houses in like 3 years, we're not going to help you build even more houses. So, we're just going to basically screw you over and make you complete an impossible task before we give you more money so that you can make more houses. This is insane. As you are aware, the current deadline already factors in a 1-year extension. No further extensions are possible, Fraser said. Are they not possible, or are you just not willing to extend them? My officials have extended the deadline for a resubmitted action plan several times. If Ontario fails to submit a revised plan by end of day on March 22nd, allowing us time to analyze and respond by the final deadline of March 31st, bilateral funding will lapse, and the impact this will have on Ontarians and housing will be devastating. Gee, it would be a shame if we're going to give you notice the day before that you need to have a revised action plan submitted to us on the end of day, before we go on break, by the way. Before the House of Commons rises for break. So that we can, revise it by the end of March from our home remotely, where we'll barely look at it. Then you don't get your funding. And gee, wouldn't that suck for Ontario citizens? You don't want to be the reason that Ontario citizens still can't get affordable housing, do you? Jesus Christ. Calandro called the government's decision to withhold funding unacceptable, responding in a letter of his own, saying Ontario respectfully expects to be treated by the federal government as the true and equal partner. Yeah, you mean like how the frickin' agreements are supposed to be between provinces and the federal government? He noted the targets did not take the current economic landscape into account, nor the province's work to repair unrepaired units. In Ontario, he said, has one of the oldest housing stocks in the country, and if these units were counted, the province would hit nearly 60% of its goal. So yeah, they're not just trying to build new houses, they're trying to refurbish houses that are still standing and salvageable and like not worth tearing down. Like, we have so many heritage houses that can be refurbished and made affordable that would absolutely be acceptable. He said that if they did not invest in repairs, it would be down to gross negligence. Yeah, you can't just build new houses from scratch if you've got tons of run-down houses that can be fixed. Like, that's a waste of property. Why would you waste all that property and just leave it derelict or tear it down when you can salvage it and make it affordable housing? That's stupid. While it is important to grow the stock, it is equally, if not crucial, to ensure that it does not shrink due to units that cannot continue to be offered because of deferred repairs and renovations. Right? You can't. Sorry, we would love to let you live there, but it's full of it's full of death traps, and the federal government won't let us fix it. The Ford government has been using the same tactic for its Building Faster Fund to encourage development with holding funding from municipalities who have not met their goals. The city of Mississauga lost out on about $30 million because it didn't have enough housing stocks for 2023. Local officials noted they have more permits awaiting approval than housing starts, but the provinces refused to allow the data to count towards Mississauga's goal. So you're getting a bit of your own medicine, Ontario. I don't agree with either tactic. I quite frankly don't agree with either tactic because it doesn't solve anything. This strong-armed government tactics, it never looks good. It doesn't work. It doesn't solve any issues. This is absolutely a stalemate here. We want to get people moving into homes, and as I've said, a permit doesn't mean we're moving into a home, Calandro said at the time. Well, he's not wrong, but you're being just as douchey as the federal government. You can't expect cities to have the budget to meet all the targets in this economic landscape and then be like, nope, we're not going to help you meet the target if you don't meet the target. Like, that is such a catch-22. It's ridiculous. And it's very typical of bureaucracy. It screams bureaucracy from the high heavens. It's absolutely insane. But it's just another way that shows that the federal government is not willing to act the way that it should in regards to how it deals with the provinces. We've got it dealing with Quebec the same way. Now we've got it dealing with Ontario the same way. And it's ignoring the legislatures of several other provinces right now. This is not a good look for the federal government. And like I said, all we can hope for is for another stronger no confidence vote on the budget. That's going to be the one that matters, the budget vote. Because the Bloc Québécois are not going to get what they want out of this budget, and it is going to piss them off. And we can only hope for the Liberals to continue basically slapping their partners in the face, and neither one of them are going to take it for much longer. I will tell you right now, the Bloc is going to crack first. The NDP is going to hang on as long as it can to keep Poilievre out of power. but the Bloc Québécois, having several more conservative leaning members of parliament in it than the NDP, is going to crack first. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will leave the article posted in the comment or in the link in the description below. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.